Hi, I'm Hazel Jarvis, and I'm here today to tell you that on a sunny afternoon, nothing could be more beautiful than a walk in the sunshine in the winter in the snow.
So here is my favourite walk at the Pinetum in Coscob. And after the walk, we go home and we paint a landscape.
So here is my rough sketch. And I start with just a very, very pale browny grey, and I'm just going to put in the horizon line. I mix up a fairly big puddle of sky and then I make sure I've got a clean brush and I've got my Doc Martens white to hand. Test the sky colour to make sure it's a nice chilly blue. Yes, I think that's good. And now we're going to just go across painting with a nice big brush, putting in the sky colour. We'll go back and add a little bit more definition to the clouds later on, but for now we just let them dry. I've mixed up a grey, which is essentially periwinkle and Van Dyke brown, and I start to smudge in the backs of the trees. And I'm going to bring it a little bit more forward, and I put in a little bit of yellow ochre just to lighten that colour a little bit over here. And I'm leaving a gap of white snow there. With more yellow ochre, we're going to come down into the foreground to suggest the grasses. With our absolutely invaluable periwinkle for shadow, number 61, we'll put in some periwinkle. And then on the other side of the path coming down. And now my least favourite word, which is wait. When everything is dry, you can go back in and put a little bit more white in on your clouds. And I like to add just a little bit of my periwinkle grey to the base of the cloud too. And I'm just going to blend that in a little bit. If the grey runs too much into the white, you can just blot it very, very gently. And I just swirl it around with my paper towel. We're now going to add another layer of the brown to the trees over here. And I'm going to extend the brown into and behind the grasses. And we'll do another layer over here too. And I'm just adding a tiny bit of orange to my basic mix, just because I want it a little darker at the foreground. With the yellow ochre, we'll darken up over here too. So we'll have some nice, long, thin, confident strokes for our grasses. So this is what the painting looks like before any detail. At this point, I'm going to switch to a much thinner brush and I'm going to put in these magnificent pine trees that we see. So they're really sharp and really dark and they make a wonderful statement. So I've got one in and we'll put in the next couple. So my brush stroke basically goes down like this. And then from the other side it goes in to meet the trunk. Isolated like this, beep, beep, beep. They look a little strange. So we're going to fill the spaces in with a lot of winter trees, with a lot of bare winter trees. I'm going to take my pencil and just mark in where I want the outline of my trees to extend to. And you probably won't be able to see this, but I'll show it as a close-up. So hopefully you can just see the pencil mark for the outline. With your nice thin brush, you're going to start to fill in the trees. So you'll paint in some trunks. And then you're going to start to pull in your branches going up to the outline. So you now have a line of pale, pale trees in the background. I go back to my pine trees with some slightly darker colour. I mix a little bit of black or a little bit of indigo into my colour, and just at the centre, to make it a little bit more dense, I add some more paint. And this just makes them just a little bit more three-dimensional. And I'm putting in the odd touch of green on either side just to soften those transitions too. Just suggest there's some more pines in the background. I'm going to extend some of these branches just a little. Whoops, that's too dark. Quick blot. I'm going to extend some of these branches up just a little bit higher. To link this part of the painting with this part, I'm going to add some grasses over here. Again, I'm using a nice thin brush, like a rigger brush, to get a good line. And to finish up, I'll add one or two grasses on this side, but not too many. And just a couple more over here. And I'll add the heads of the Phragmites too. So just finishing up with the final finishing touches, blobbing on the heads of the Phragmites grasses. So off camera, I added just a few more dark touches to the pine trees in the distance and just a couple of touches to the trees in the foreground. But here you are, and what could be nicer? So your winter walk is now complete, and to be honest, the only thing that's lacking is a dog. The final picture on a sunny afternoon, what could be more beautiful?
And here are some quick sketches from another winter walk on a sunny day. And as the shadows lengthen, it's time to head home for tea.
So here you have your beautiful portrait. You've walked in the snow, and what could be nicer? All we need now basically is a dog to take us for a walk.